Artimus Prime, Artimus Prime. Reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it. Taking bad hits, taking bad shit. Artimus, subscribe. Oh, these things are awesome, man. Yep. Hey, what's up, you guys? Artimus Prime here, doing another McFarlane Toys figure review on the 10th anniversary Spawn figure. Wow, I am really excited to review this figure, man. There's a whole story behind this thing. I had first seen this figure back in 2009 in a video from Brazil with Love. I was kind of curious what it was. I was at New York Toy Fair and interviewed Todd McFarlane and questioned him about articulation in his Walking Dead figures or his Spawn figures when they make a comeback, and he said that he had done it before and he had talked about this particular figure right here.
We did a Spawn that had, I don't remember how many, but it was him in a tight costume, so you could put him in a crouch on a cross.
So now I'm really excited to have this. CFA Comics and Figure Addicts, hit them up, tell them Artimus Prime sent you. You get a discount, and I just want to throw that out there because they gave me a great deal on this figure. That's how I was able to find it. So this is really cool. You get some of the other figures from Image or characters. You get Savage Dragon, I believe that's Ripclaw over there. Yep, it's Ripclaw. You get Shadowhawk right here. And then here's the Spawn figure that we have in the packaging, the 10th anniversary. From Brazil with Love had him posed like this on the cross. I remember that from way back when. So nice clear clamshell packaging, reminds me of Marvel Legends, or the Marvel Legends took after this. This is the 10th anniversary figure. It says 2002 right there at the very bottom in very small letters. So man, I am excited to open this. I almost don't want to open it because it's so beautiful, just mint on card, but it's articulated and it's got a lot of cool accessories. So let's crack this thing open anyway. So here's the 10th anniversary Spawn figure displayed on this incredible base. What a cool looking figure. I think this thing is amazing. The articulation is awesome. Let's do a 360 of this thing. It is cool. Look at that chain. We have that real metal chain dangling down there. We have this really cool cross. And the cape is incredible. This is just an awesome piece. None of the other 10th anniversary figures had articulation like this. So I've seen the Savage Dragon one, and I think Shadowhawk was the other one. And yeah, neither of them compare to this guy. Look at that. That's just cool. So let's take a closer look at this base, and then we'll take a closer look at the figure. There's some really nice paint detail on this thing. I like the sculpting of it too. This is nice. It looks very worn and old. I think it looks like it's made out of stone or something. It does have only 2 ports on it though, or these 2 pegs sticking out of it, so you can really only get him into that one pose that you saw him in earlier. I haven't really seen anybody else pose him differently. If you want to, you can, but it's gonna get kind of tricky. So if you want him, the most secure way is to really plug him into this port right here and this port right there. So that's really the only pose you're really going to get out of him while on the cross. Of course, like I said, you can do different things, but it is a little bit more risky. And I like how the other side of it's got this solid look. I mean, they didn't go completely flat. It looks like it's kind of textured. It feels textured too. So I think this is a pretty nice looking cross. And as we look further down this thing, you can see how it goes all the way down here. Now, aside from not having more pegs sticking out of the cross at the top, this part right here is a little bit loose. This gets a little loose over time. I've seen other reviews where it gets loose as well. So I know it's not only my figure, it happens to other people too. We have this really cool looking gargoyle down here at the bottom with 2 more ports for him to stand just straight up and down. And the sculpted detail on the gargoyle over here is pretty awesome. We get some other gargoyles holding up these wings right there. You can see a gargoyle with the wings folded over. This is really cool. Great paint detail, great sculpting on this. Of course, we already mentioned the pegs. I like how we have this moss kind of growing on it. I think that's cool. So I don't know if this is supposed to be a bronze cross or if it's supposed to be made out of stone. I'm thinking it's supposed to be made out of stone, as most gargoyles are. I really like the head sculpt on this figure, and the paint detailing throughout is immaculate. I really love the way this looks. Look at that head sculpt, man. I love that blue shading right here at the top of the head. I think that came out very clean. I like how the white part of the mask is sculpted on there. It's not just painted on. I like how the green eyes look. Very bright green eyes on here, as it should be. Very cool. I really like this. Getting a profile shot. Look at this. This is great, man. Just beautiful. And I really like the textured lines right here we have in this huge collar. This is made out of a very pliable material. The whole cape is made out of a very pliable material. The skulls came out looking very cool. I like the silver paint that they used for them. This looks nice. And I'll go over the articulation on the cape, but it is an articulated cape. And you can bend this cape backwards so you can move it around a little bit. Like I said, it's very pliable. But look at the detail on this guy. The paint applications are superb. Look at that. And he has some nice texture on him. The musculature looks great and everything. This is awesome. Nice clean line work on this and everything. And the sculpting is just great. He's got the spikes right here on his hands. That looks really good. Fingers look awesome too. Nice detail on the fingers. I like how this forearm band came out over here. Nice silver paint applications, and the red looks pretty good. This thing came out in 2002, man. So it came out like before Marvel Legends, or right around the same time Marvel Legends really got started. So that's kind of a trip, man. And then we got another skull right over here. And we have this really, really long chain. It's made out of real metal, so it's a real metal chain. The thing is very, very long. I'll give you a better idea how long it actually is when we get to the articulation. But you can see this nice blue paint detail over the black. It just looks awesome. Guinea pigs. And then we have some red with black mixed in it, and the silver looks really good. We even have some paint detail on the feet right there, and some nice wrinkles in the feet too. And as I mentioned earlier, he does have peg holes at the bottom of each of his feet, but they're placed differently on each foot, specifically for him to stay up on the cross. And it's kind of tricky, but here's a look at the back of the figure. We have this part right over here. I think this is where he carries his ammo. There's a spawn butt. Then there's some more nice paint detail in his back, which is hard to get to. I guess you could find a way to remove this if you want to, but I wouldn't really recommend it. And here's a look at the back of the figure, and you can see all the attention to detail that went into this cape. Look at that, all those wrinkles and all the paint variation in there. I think this was just wonderfully done. They did a great job over here. The head does move up a reasonable amount. He can look up that far up, and he can move down a little bit too, and his head rotates side to side. As I mentioned, he does have the articulated cape. So if we look over here, you can see on this piece right here, and then this section right here. So this section is articulated. There's a notch right there and a notch right there where it can move. But then this piece in the front, that is articulated as well. So all that moves. So you get 3 points of articulation on the left side of the cape, and then on the right side of the cape you get articulation over here, and then you get articulation right over here on this piece. So this can move around, and then you can move this whole section around a little bit too, which is a little useless. You can't really do too much over here on the right side. So it's really just 1 point of articulation on the right side, I think anyway. So his shoulders, he does not have regular ball jointed shoulders. It gets kind of weird over here. He has an armpit joint, so it can move in and out over here, but it just rotates forward and back. It's kind of like a DC Direct figure where it moves forward and back over here. But as you move the shoulder backwards, you can move this up, and then it looks like kind of like a ball jointed shoulder, but it's still not. He has this mid bicep swivel over here. He has a single jointed elbow that bends at 90 degrees. He has a forearm joint that rotates, and he has a wrist hinge that moves down and up right over here. He has great ab articulation. Okay, so this is the first time I've actually ever seen this on a figure where it really has the combination of the diaphragm joint and the ab crunch and waist joints at the same time. So he can rotate, pivot a little bit side to side, and just the diaphragm joint itself allows for a little bit of forward and back movement. But like I said, he also has the ab crunch in there too. So he can move forward quite a bit, and he does run into the skull, but you still can get him to crunch forward a lot. And he can move back quite a bit too. This cape thing really does get in the way though, I gotta say. He also has a waist joint, and it allows him to move side to side very well. He has some pretty decent hip joints that allow him to move outward, and he can kick forward. He has this mid-thigh swivel right here. He has double jointed knees, which are a little gappy, you know, there's kind of a gap right here, but not too bad. And then it gets kind of weird again right here. So you get an ankle swivel that moves side to side, and then it moves down and up. But you also get an ankle pivot. It's kind of like this new ankle pivot that we've been seeing in figures. It's kind of a trip. It really reminds me of the new ankle pivot. So it kind of swivels all the way around. You could do a 360 with this. It's pretty cool. And then you get toe articulation. So a ton of articulation on this. I really wish McFarlane had done this a lot more, but from the interview, it sounds like he just wasn't happy with the way this figure came out. I think this is a great figure. So this Spawn figure is not short by any means. I want to say it stands closer to 7.5 inches tall. The cross itself stands at 12.5 inches tall. And then just to be thorough, I'm measuring this chain to be at 16 inches long. For the ladies! And here's Spawn compared to two other Image Comics characters. These are the legendary comic book heroes Savage Dragon and Ripclaw. And I don't think they really fit into scale with each other. And if I remember correctly, I think Savage Dragon should be the tallest one out of these three. And here he is next to the Marvel Select Venom figure. And I think these do work in scale with each other, even though I don't think they've ever crossed paths. I don't know. But I believe McFarlane is both of their daddies. Then here's Spawn compared to the fan-named McFarlane Spider-Man figure from Spider-Man Classics. And for all you BTLD lovers, here he is next to the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. So for this being a figure that is over 10 years old, we're looking at a 12-year-old figure. This thing is amazing. I highly recommend it. Go to eBay, look for it. Thanks again to Comic and Figure Addicts for making this review possible and selling it to me for a really good price. Or else I would have had to deal with the E-rape and that would have sucked. But unfortunately for you guys, unless you find a really good deal on it, you're going to have to go to eBay because this is a very old figure and it is amazing. Really, really cool piece. I'm really, really glad I was able to get my hands on this. This is awesome. Especially the first time I heard about it was from McFarlane. You know, that is cool. It has some sentimental value to it too. So anyway, I hope you guys liked my video. If you did, please go ahead, hit the like button. Go ahead, leave a comment. And if you haven't, go ahead, subscribe. I will catch you guys later. Peace.
Crispy.
I don't know. I grew up Catholic, all right?